This is the OTP. I'm Amie Wells. The month of April has begun, guys. And you know what April means. It means the NFL draft is upon us. So we have brought in a portion of our Titans radio draft coverage team to help us get ready for the event. Rhett Bryan is here. Taylor Zarzour is also here. You guys, you can feel it in the air. When the calendar turns to April, something shifts and the draft is coming. You feel a little draft, maybe?
Oh, wow.
I see what you did there.
Wow.
It's getting a little drafty in here, maybe.
What a start.
That's pretty good, too.
You can find her online at momjoke.com.
Yeah, wow. Look at you, Amie. You used to be so hip and cool.
And now look at me.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, there's a lot of excitement in the air. There's a lot going on. And so we are keeping our tradition alive of making sure that the OT people are the smartest people in the room during the 3 days of the NFL draft. Can I make you smart forever? Probably not. But I can make you smart for 3 days, and we can get you set up so that you are well informed and you are able to drop tons of your own nuggies, courtesy of Rhett Bryan.
I was going to say, is it possible to have a conversation with the OT people without Rhett Bryan informing them about the draft?
Definitely not. So we are going to do that to get you guys ready for what is going to be a very exciting NFL draft. Guys, when you think about what is to come, Rhett, I'll start with you. What sticks out to you? What are you most looking forward to about the NFL draft this year?
Well, I mean, I'm dying to know who it is at pick number 4.
Well,
Let's start there. And then you got 35 and 66 and 101, and here we go. I'm interested to see where the draft truly begins. And I honestly think maybe at 4 with the Titans is where it might go a little off kilter, because it is pretty much a foregone conclusion that Fernando Mendoza from Indiana will be the number 1 overall pick of the Vegas Raiders. He had from what I understand, a very good pro day. Of course, he's throwing against air with guys he's used to, but they're looking for their franchise quarterback. What does the Arizona Cardinals do at 3? And if that kind of goes like I think it will, and it goes like pass rusher or O-lineman or pass rusher, then we'll see what happens after that point. Daniel Jeremiah just released a new top 50, and the first 8 top 50 guys, not a mock draft, but just talent, had not changed. But there's some names that have crawled into the bottom of the top 50 and some moves up and down throughout. But I would start there.
And I would say, Amie, if last year is any indication of the way that our personnel department evaluates players and how they crushed it doing that last year, I'm really excited about the fact that the first handful of rounds, the Tennessee Titans are adding players that are immediately going to make an impact. I mean, if last year is any indication, you think about the quarterback that took every single snap going into or through the beginning of the last game of the season. You think about a pass rusher in Olufemi Oladejo that had a great training camp and really looked the part before an unfortunate injury. And then you have all those pass catchers that the Titans took after that. I mean, Gunnar Helm catching a ton of balls last year. Chim Dike was an all-pro. Alec Iomanner's catching at least 2 passes in every game until he got banged up in the latter part of the year. I mean, those were guys that all were immediately impacting the Tennessee Titans. And Mike Borgonzi, the general manager, has said, we're drafting the best player. When we have the 4th pick, when we're in the 2nd round and the 3rd round, the 4th, we are taking the best player. We're not going and saying, well, we got to have this or we got to have – no, we're taking the best player. And if you keep doing that, stockpiling this talent here, that's exciting for Titans fans.
Well, and you do think about it this way. You're really picking at 3 because if Fernando Mendoza goes number 1 overall, then you got 2 spots ahead of you that you don't know what's going to happen. The other part of it, to Taylor's point, is you're going to get a very good football player at number 4. And there's a half dozen different ways you can dice it as to what might be the possibilities there. But I think about what head coach Robert Saleh said this week at the owners' meetings. We want an explosive player. Doesn't mean it's offense. Doesn't mean it's defense. It's like, you play poker, Robert Saleh. Go on with your bad self. But you're going to get a good player. And depending upon what you do at 4, in some of the areas of need, you can address at 35 and 66, and in some cases at 101.
Right. That's right.
The Titans have definitely set themselves up to have that poker moment because there are a lot of different options. There's a lot of things. And I think free agency has also really impacted what they're going to be able to do here because we saw them filling a lot of the conventional positions of need that this team ended the 25 season with. So there is a lot of question around the league. I think when you look at national pundits, when you look at Jim Wyatt's roundup of the mocks, which is my favorite thing.
Great at TennesseeTitans.com, yes.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, just go because, I love it so much. The man does all the heavy lifting for us.
One-stop shop, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's so great. But there are a couple different positions in there, which all, like, different position groups. There's always different people, which indicates to me that no one really knows what's going to happen, which I think is great.
Yeah. The unknown is always such a huge factor in this. And regardless of what the Titans do at 4, if that goes along with what most mocks are saying or anything like that, the draft always takes a turn somewhere.
Somewhere right around there.
And for me, and I know we're going to talk about quarterbacks in a minute, Ty Simpson is the polarizing player in this because Coach Mack taught us that there's the draft and then there's the quarterback draft. And this quarterback draft is much different than in just in the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, let's just be honest. It's weaker. I mean, it's just not. It doesn't have as many possibilities as it typically does.
Where is his ceiling in this draft?
Because
how high does he go?
It's such a great point because someone is, I guess, for lack of a better term, going to reach for a quarterback. And maybe Ty Simpson turns into an all-pro and the greatest quarterback ever. A guy from Martin, Tennessee that is a proud Tennessean. Even though he played quarterback for Alabama, he is a proud Tennessean. And I really enjoyed getting to know him as he was competing at the collegiate level. But somebody, most of the world, Rhett included, have this guy evaluated in the 20s or the 30s, somewhere in there. I don't know that he gets to the 20s or the 30s. And so I think he's spot on. I think
when we get to that in a second, I'll tell you where I think his ceiling is in this. But Taylor's right because the thing about the draft is it's not Baskin-Robbins because there's 32 teams, but what's your flavor? Who's the number one guy and the number one pod on your war room board? Mm-hmm. And as those things come off, they get slung to the other wall, and it's like, what's left? What's the best of what is left? And if there is a team that is fully in their own convictions and beliefs that this guy is the guy, usually it's a quarterback you're going to trade up for. So every once in a while, it's something crazy. Maybe it's a pass rusher. Maybe it's a cornerback. Maybe it's something like that. It's more than likely a quarterback in this case. And I still believe that in this draft because this draft overall is a high floor, lower ceiling draft in terms of talent acquired versus potential going forward. So we're going to see.
Well, let's just hop into the quarterback thing then, because you're right. This is a lighter year for quarterbacks than we have seen in previous years. That does impact kind of the way that everything is calculated and the way that it's all balanced together, because you are less likely to have a higher impact of that quarterback draft on the regular draft. It feels like the calculus stays a little bit more consistent because you're not going to have this crazy run on quarterbacks. Yes, someone's going to reach for Ty Simpson probably. Mm-hmm. Yes, there will be a team or two that are going to move up and draft a guy that you say, really? We will all have that moment on night one.
Sure.
It happens every year. It happened last year. But it maybe Rhett is not going to have the same level of just total recalibration at like pick 12 because the quarterbacks weren't falling the way that we anticipated, because that's typically what happens.
Well, and I think you're going to get to some point in the first round where someone's going to see if there is Sonny Styles, for some reason, the linebacker from Ohio State, falls, or Reuben Bain because not everybody likes the short arms or whatever.
Hey, people love short arms now.
You're doggone right.
In everyday society, yes.
Yeah. Quarterback
all over the place.
Fernando Mendoza should be the first overall pick. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. He had a fantastic year. They went undefeated. He won all the awards, 35 career starts because he had time at Cal before he transferred to play for Curt Cignetti. 25-10 as a starter. But just, I think the thing that was interesting to me about him coming down the stretch when they were getting into the playoffs, he showed toughness in the Big Ten championship game and even in the national championship game. He took some shots. And so you can see he's the 6'5", 225, and that can kind of make some things happen with his legs if he needs to. That's not really his game fully, but he's a good quarterback in terms of his football IQ. He has adequate arm. He has anticipation and ball placement, more of a pocket passer, but that's going to be the pick there. So Ty Simpson we go to. Alabama, 15 career starts, and that's where I'm not knocking the young man at all, but there is a median college starts where you can see a track record of success. And I reference this all the time, but that Moving the Sticks podcast that Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks do, they did a deep dive on this over a year ago. 39 and a half starts is roughly the median.
So not even half. That's what
right.
That's what Simpson has.
And they went all the way back to Peyton Manning. And so they went through the Phillip Rivers years and Eli Manning, and all those guys had 40, 50 starts. You know, you think about what did Bo Nix had 63 starts between the stops he had. The two outliers were Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, the two you would think would be there. And then there's the other. And then, so, for example, Mitch Trubisky, who is the backup quarterback right now in that competition for the Tennessee Titans, he had like, 11, 12 starts?
Just one season he was a starter for, very similar to Ty Simpson.
So now this is Ty Simpson in the Southeastern Conference. That's a baptism by fire. He's been in that system. He has football knowledge. It's limited to his on-field presence in this.
Well, I mean, a great example, Rhett, would be Cam Ward. I mean, look at how, this guy's been a starting quarterback for almost a decade at the high school and the collegiate level every single season. Yeah,
Correct.
And you want that kind of experience. I'm interested, Amie, to see what Rhett thinks about the quarterbacks. There seems to be a gulf between Mendoza and Simpson in the way they've been evaluated. Is there a gulf between Simpson and then, say, Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Aller? I watched a bunch of these guys play in college, Amie. Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. I watched Carson Beck at Georgia. I mean, gosh, 3 years ago they thought Carson Beck might be the first pick in the draft, and now he's a day 2 or a day 3 guy. Taylon Green's an incredible athlete from Arkansas. I don't know that he's an NFL quarterback, but I think he's a great athlete. Cade Klubnik at Clemson. We walked out of a playoff game a couple years ago. He played against Texas in a losing cause, and we thought, man, this guy could really be a good quarterback, but maybe he doesn't have the size. Do you think there is a big gap between Simpson and the rest, or do you think it gets bottled up there after?
No, there is. So let me say this first. The gap between Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson potentially, and I mean the high ceiling end for Ty Simpson. I'm not saying he couldn't go higher than this because anything's possible, but I think 13th overall to the Los Angeles Rams could be a spot for Ty Simpson because that's a Sean McVay type of project right there, and he could work behind Matthew Stafford,
who doesn't have much time left. I mean, let's just be honest. He's already contemplated retirement.
Correct.
Right.
So there's that. After him, yes, I believe there's a significant divide. Some people will tell you it's Garrett Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback, son of Doug, the offensive coordinator for the Saints. Some people say it's him as the third quarterback. I'd almost argue that it's Drew Aller. And the reason that I would, he is the prototypical size quarterback, 6'5", 235, has the arm, has the NFL body, and really started off with a bang. He was one of 3 FBS players to throw for 1,000-plus yards passing with fewer than 15 interceptions. He has the FBS record with 311 pass attempts to begin his career without an interception. Now, what's unfair in his case is he had a great 2024. In 2025, it was a little up and down, and James Franklin had those guys running the ball, because we're going to get to running backs in this series, and there's some good running backs in Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton in this. But they were running the ball more in this. And then he broke his ankle in October, and then here we are.
Different
and so
story.
he's healed from that. And, you know, his film is not super great against top competition. That's a little knock against him. But he's got the frame and size, where Garrett Nussmeier is a smaller guy, just over 6 feet, right at 6'1", 202 pounds. And is a pro-style quarterback because his dad was an OC, you know. There's a lot of prospects in this that lack the length and size that you're looking for. But I'd say there, and then, you know, you can talk about – there'll be a lot of these quarterbacks taken in day 3, and then some will be preferred free agents. Luke Altmaier, Illinois, Sawyer Robertson, Baylor, Carson Beck, you mentioned, who has a ton of experience. I wonder if Carson Beck's arm is different after the elbow surgery, because it doesn't seem like he has the same touch.
That's a good point. Yeah, because at Georgia, he got banged up at the end of the year, Amie, before he transferred to Miami, and you didn't see that. It's a good point there. The other thing in Nashville that everyone's interested in is, does Diego Pavia, the quarterback at Vanderbilt, get drafted, you know, in this draft? Doug Flutie was in our stadium for a rather memorable moment in our stadium, arguably the biggest moment ever in our stadium. Diego Pavia is about the same size as Doug Flutie.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's the big question. But Diego obviously had an extraordinary career for Vanderbilt. That'll be a fun thing to follow.
Obviously, the Tennessee Titans are not in the market for a quarterback. So
Thank goodness.
This is more just a fun conversation.
Sure.
But it does kind of give us the ability to take a step back and zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture here. And that question for me is, why is this such a light class? Is this the impact of transfers and NIL and the changing scape of college football? Is this what it's going to be like now going forward?
You just totally answered your own question. No question, because there's a bunch of guys, Carson Beck as an example, who can go get significant compensation by transferring or re-upping at the same school. There's a lot of that going on right now. But it is going to be interesting to see moving forward, because Ty Simpson could have gone to the college free agent market and gotten compensated rather fairly. And
more than a rookie deal with where he may be drafted if it's not in the first round.
I mean, it could have been handsomely, but he also looked at the fact of, like what Rhett just said, I'm the second quarterback on the board. I got to go right now. So it's you're 100% right. That's exactly what it is.
And to follow up Taylor, there are some quarterbacks that went back in for another season and didn't even hit the transfer portal, and wisely did. I thought Ty Simpson's one of those that should have gone back. Not because, like, here's the thing. He was sacked 30 times. His receivers had 30 drops. And a lot of them were Ryan Williams, the super wonderkind in this, not Jeremy Bernard that we're going to talk about when we get to receivers later in this series. But
he needs 15 more starts.
Exactly. Like his play dipped down the stretch, and it was really not all his fault in this. So with that, I say this. I thought he should have gone back to school. Dante Moore with Oregon, who we will discuss next year, he went back to Oregon, and I think that was a wise choice by him. And then a guy that he's seen calling SEC games, Lenore Sellers at South Carolina, should have gone back to South Carolina and did.
And then one more guy that's trying to go back to college is Trinidad Chambliss.
Yes,
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there.
He's in, he's out. He's in, he's out.
It's up to the Mississippi judicial process. So
yes.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to talk about with that group, but honestly, I'm glad that's not a big point for the Tennessee Titans this year, because Cam Ward is quite a good quarterback, and I am glad that he's playing for the good guys. Titans fans, SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of Tighten Up, and here to help you experience all the action this season. SeatGeek makes it easy to find the perfect seats to the perfect game, so you can be part of all the touchdown celebrations and momentum-shifting takeaways this season. Whether you're getting tickets to Titans games or to any live event in Nashville, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Tennessee Titans.
Home is at the forefront of all we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans.
Hey, football fans! Off-season debates getting heated. It sounds like it's time for a Snickers. Stay satisfied, Titans fans. Pick up a Snickers at Kroger near you.
Genesis is the first and only official jeweler of the Titans, having earned that title since 2006. Titans players, coaches, and fans trust Genesis for the absolute best in selection, quality, customer service, and of course, value. For diamonds, engagement rings, designer fashion jewelry, and the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Tennessee, Genesis is the hands-down winner. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
You want someone to help protect Cam Ward.
I sure would like someone to protect Cam Ward, and that leads us so beautifully to our next group, which is offensive line. Now, just to recap a little bit, the Tennessee Titans released Cushenberry. Zeitler remains a free agent. We had some free agent pickups in Cordell Volson and Austin Schlottman.
Very good. Very
So
good.
thank you. Yeah. So
Schlody.
I practiced that one. So we also have a new offensive coordinator who is going to have a little bit of a different style, and he has his very own schematic needs that he's going to have. Rhett, when you think about a lineman who would fit what we know or what we expect a Brian Daboll offense to look like, what are some of the attributes that you think he's going to be looking for?
Well, it still falls under the mantra that Robert Saleh said at his introductory presser, fast and violent.
Yep.
You need athletes in this, and that's no knock to offensive linemen because they are. They're like world-class athletes. But you need the guys who are really good with hands and feet. I think, if I'm right, in this system, you would need the pin and pull type of movement where a wall moves so that running backs like Tony Pollard, whoever, can go in outside zone runs and you know, guys picking up blocks and those things. But there are going to be people that are going to need to be nimble. They need to be violent. They need to be fast. They need to be tough. And there's some guys in this class, interior and exterior lines, tackles and inside, that fit a lot of those earmarks.
So, I mean, let's talk about that a little bit. Are there guys in this draft who you see as day one starters who could make an impact for the Tennessee Titans?
All right, so are we talking about tackle or interior, and are we talking about at pick 4 or pick 35?
Well, Rhett, I mean, choose your own adventure
the world
here.
is your oyster, pal.
Yeah, you
Well,
do you,
let's-
boo.
you know what?
Like, I was trying to be nice and kind of open, but, I mean, whatever.
Let's start with the best offensive tackle in the draft, a guy that you have been spending a lot of time getting the pronunciation of his name correct from the University of Miami.
Yeah, and you're talking about Maui Noah.
Yes, sir.
Francis Maui Noah is, and it's funny you say this because there's two tackles now being mentioned early in night one. He's one of them, and I'm going to mention the other one in a moment. But Francis Maui Noah, 6'5 and a half, 329, arm 33 and a quarter, hands nearly 11 inches, wing 80 and 3/4. High IQ in football, plus footwork, does well with speed to power rushers, and average lateral agility. With a lot of these guys that size, that you can't have everything. He's only 20 years old, and you're talking about a guy that has almost 2,000 snaps in the last 2 years, 3-year starter at right tackle for the Miami Hurricanes, and you're talking about a guy that had to grow up quick because this is one of these guys that was in the COVID world. He's playing high school football in California. COVID happens. He goes back to his native Samoa. He has to play another year of high school there. Then he goes to IMG in Florida when all that breaks loose. And this is a 19-year-old kid having to go across being away from his family. He's done some grown man stuff. And just to see him blossom, especially in what a great year that Miami's had the last couple, and obviously being the runner-up in the national championship game. But, yeah, he's right up there.
I would say one other guy to watch, Amie, that could be around at pick 35. I think he'll be off the board there, but there's a shot, is Clemson's Blake Miller, who is a tackle that Rhett loves, that everybody that I have worked with loves. And the one weakness that Clemson has had, even through winning those national championships, if you said there's one place on the whole entire at a position group that wasn't as strong as the rest, and they're not as good at littering the draft with, it's offensive linemen. This guy sticks out, though. This guy is one of the better Clemson offensive linemen that Dabo Swinney has ever had. And when you were talking about fast and violent, he's somebody that is really good in pass protection. And I called the Clemson-South Carolina game. South Carolina has some dudes on their front line.
Sure.
They've got one that's coming back next year in Stewart, and he shut him down in that game. He's somebody that if he's still on the board at the start of day 2,
wouldn't hate it at all. Blake Miller, 22 years old, 6'7", 317 pounds, arms 34 and a quarter, wing almost 84 inches. Started every bleeping game in his history at Clemson. 54 starts, 53 of them at right tackle, 1 at left tackle. And the thing that I like about him, you talking about the nasty, violent stuff that he's seen in person, state high school championship wrestler. He's got it in his blood. He's a starting right tackle in the NFL.
Amy, since he crushed Maui Noah's name, and there's a G in there that's not pronounced, by the way, let's try interior offensive lineman, and let's go to Penn State.
Yes, and this, he goes by, it looks like Vega is what but it's actually pronounced Venga Owane, Penn State. And he is regarded by a lot of people as maybe the best O-line prospects in this draft, regardless of position. Venga Owane, 6'4", 320, arms 32 and a quarter, hands 10 and a quarter, wing just under 81 inches, 31 and a half inch vertical at the combine, 8'8" broad at that size. Only 4 pressures allowed in 2025, 43 games, 32 starts, 0 sacks allowed in the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Prototypical guard build in the NFL, has played offensive tackle and defensive tackle in high school, has a basketball and rugby background, good anchor, good contact balance, core power, reshaped his body going into last season, and it showed.
Could see a guy maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round like Chase Basantis of Texas A&M. You just gave the ultimate day 1 option that is certainly going to be off the board on day 1 for someone. Day 2, look at Chase Basantis at Texas A&M, and maybe a little later in the draft, Jalen Farmer at Kentucky.
Yes,
could be a guard to watch. That could be where the Titans select in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round, Amy.
Yeah, Basantis is one that, Emmanuel Pregnan, who played at Oregon via USC, that's another one. The one that I really like, and he snuck into the latest top 50 from Daniel Jeremiah, and that's Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. Now, you talk about a nasty, tough dude. And this guy, 6'4", 316, he won the Brian Piccolo Award in 2025. It was a co-split between a fella at BC who had gone through cancer. This guy overcame a catastrophic, bad car accident where he had to have part of his foot reattached.
Ooh.
And 8 months later, he's playing ball and played 24 straight starts after that. Just really like that guy. Keelan Rutledge is someone to keep an eye on. But this place it's got all kinds of things to go through rounds 2, 3, 4 in places where if the Titans decided to do something positionally at a different place, they can pick somebody up in here that can help.
When you already said it about quarterback and how we have a bunch of them already in this facility, so it'd surprise you if, not necessarily what the Titans are looking at.
Right.
I do think that what we just talked about is very much in the minds of those that operate in this building right now.
Yeah.
Well, you still don't have a designated who is the starting right guard.
Nope.
And General Manager Mike Borgonzi said it at the podium at the Combine. Listen, we're not ruling out Kevin Zeitler. We still have work to do there, so we're working on it.
Well, Rhett, is there anybody at the tackle position who's maybe listed as a tackle but could kick back in to be a guard? Is there someone that fits that mold that gives this organization some flexibility after they draft him?
A guy that catches passes for Alabama?
Caden Proctor, I mean that's a mammoth human being too. At 6'7" and weighed in at the Combine at 352, which good for him. He's getting into the right shape because I think he probably played at 370,
no doubt,
during the season. I'll give you one I like though. that I think could move inside despite having some length here is J.C. Davis from Illinois. He's a fifth-year senior. 2 years at left tackle for New Mexico, and then 2 years at Illinois, 1,600 snaps in the last couple of years. He does have a guard projection going forward, but he's 6'4", 322 with long arms, big hands, nasty, nasty run blocker, really good block games in his skill set. Needs a little hand placement help, but every one of these guys needs coaching and refinement in this. That's one that could move. Trying to think of another one here. There's a couple in here that Caleb Lomu, the other tackle from Utah, because everybody talks about Spencer Fano, who's probably the most athletic of this group. He's one that probably tracks to move inside. And Caden Proctor at Alabama, that dude's an athlete to be as big as he is. Like,
crazy.
He is nimble.
It's crazy.
I mean, he had a 31 or 32-inch vert at 6'7", 352.
I love it
good
when
Lord.
the big guys jump. I've said it before. It's just my favorite thing.
You need a bear on two legs dancing.
But like the biggest human you've ever seen in real life comes over and just jumps up as high as he possibly can, and then kaboom, back down they come.
Yes.
Does it matter how high they can jump? Not really. Is
just
so
like the
much
40
fun
times
to watch?
don't
yes,
matter.
it is.
I know.
Nope.
Yeah.
But
I know-
we love them.
I know you like my last segue. Here's another good one for you.
Okay.
Caden Proctor is the biggest human being I've ever been in person with.
Yeah.
The other is Darnell Washington of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who used to play for the Georgia Bulldogs, and he's a tight end. And I know you'd like to talk about that next.
And now I would like to talk about tight ends. Thank you, Taylor.
When you bring Hellman's creamy buffalo chicken dip to the watch party, you can cheer too loud, or block the TV, or be a couch coach, and no one will eject you from the game. That's a Hail Mayo. Hellman's, the official mayo of the Tennessee Titans. Hey Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, the official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up.
Founded in 1983 in the heart of downtown Nashville, Tennessee, Christie Cookie began as a humble storefront built on a simple belief that premium ingredients and timeless flavors are the key to truly gourmet cookies. Christie Cookie is honored to be able to share those same cookies and recipes with you and your family and friends. If you would like to gift some Christie Cookies to some of your loved ones, visit ChristieCookie.com today.
Little Caesars is the official pizza partner of your Tennessee Titans. Download the Little Caesars app and get your favorites delivered today. Delivery fees apply. Now back to the OTP.
I mentioned it briefly. The Titans have a new offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll, and there's a lot of things that are going to change about the Titans offense with a new person leading the charge. Do we anticipate a different role for the tight ends? Could we see them getting involved in a different way than what we saw in Nick Holtz and Brian Callahan's offense in previous years?
Yeah, I think there's something to that, because if you look at the last year and a half or whatever that Brian Daboll was in New York, they used 12 personnel a little more than in previous years, being two tight ends in this, and even some 13 personnel. So, and I think that what they've done in free agency already lends to that, because they have Gunnar Helm in year 2, and they went and got Daniel Bellinger, who knows the system and went and played for him, who's a big dude who's not just kind of an inline guy. He can block, he can catch, all of those things. But there's some – this is actually a decent tight end draft too.
Which is good. We had a couple lean years there.
Yes,
we had some weird times.
Yes. The leader in the clubhouse would be Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon, 6'3" and an 8, 241, ran a 4.39 40. 43.5-inch vertical leap, 11-foot broad, like he's just off the charts. 26 reps at 225, so you can see core strength there. Plus athlete with contested catch rate that's really good in there. He can be a potential mismatch type of weapon in this. He'd be the one that leads the clubhouse. There's one closer to home, though, that really just blew up the combine, and that's Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. He set records for vertical leap at 45.5 inches and an 11-foot 3-inch broad jump. And you're talking 6'3.5", 239, has all the skills, 4.51 in the 40, which is good. but he's really good at the routes and the spacing and creating separation. He's a big wide receiver is really what he is.
Well,
he's going to make somebody a nice player.
He was originally a quarterback.
That's correct.
At Texas A&M and at New Mexico State before he became a really good Vanderbilt tight end. And Amie, at your favorite place, well, I don't know if it's your favorite place on earth, but it's definitely your favorite place in the SEC. I was doing a Missouri-Texas A&M game one day, and old Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher is on the field before the game, and I said, who is this big and pretty quarterback that you have that's your third or fourth? He's like, no, let me tell you something. This kid named Eli Stowers is one of the best athletes we've brought here. I just have no idea what position I'm supposed to put him at. And they finally figured it out and put him at tight end. And, Rhett was with me calling a couple Vandy games last year. This guy was by far Diego Pavia's favorite target, and he is by far Vanderbilt's best prospect on offense.
He has an Evan Ingram-type profile, and more relatable to here, a Jonnu Smith-type profile. Very good athlete.
Well, so let's talk about it. When it comes to positions of need for the Tennessee Titans specifically, would they need more a blocking tight end or a pass-catching tight end? Is there a preference there?
Because that's such a good question, too, because, like, as an example, I think Sadiq is both. I think he's a good blocker. Yeah. Stowers is more of a pass catcher, not necessarily as much of a blocker.
Correct. And not everybody in this is like a Y inline blocking tight end, but there are some that kind of fit the bill there. I'll give you one that I think is very interesting is Sam Roush from Stanford. He's a senior, 6'5.5", 267. Now, he's a big, big dude. Rotational guy in year one, but a 3-year starter afterwards. 49 catches, was a safety valve underneath, good working hands. Not top hand talent as a catcher, but the thing is, I know he's tough, and he was a rugby player. And he has lineage too. That's Merlin Olsen's great nephew, the Hall of Famer.
Very cool. Used to love watching him on television.
Absolutely, he's got a lineage like he has all kinds of. His family's just full of athletes, but there are some who fit the bill in both, and so that's probably what this requires is some of both. It's got to be a good blocker, got to catch.
Well, and Daniel Bellinger, or AKA Belly, I mean, he is certainly known as a great blocker, though he's sneaky good as a pass catcher on third down. And then David Martin Robinson is here, and he is known as a blocker as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they try to covet someone that's a really good pass catcher there. Helm is turned into – I loved being on the field with Mike Borgonzi last year and him saying, gosh, man, Gunnar Helm is a good blocker. He was like, we weren't sure we were getting a good blocker. We knew we were getting a good route runner, a good pass catcher, a good teammate, but he's a good blocker.
Well, just think about if first of all, this means they're doing things and moving the chains, but getting into goal line situations and going jumbo and Big 12 and, Big 12 giant packages like Bellinger and Cam Ward, you got options, brother. You got options.
Can we put 98 back on the field for those two?
Please.
I love that.
Please. More, please.
So, Rhett, do you have one person that's a favorite that maybe we haven't mentioned, a guy that would be a good name to throw out just, if you're sitting around talking to seem really smart?
You're talking about in the positions we covered.
In the positions that we covered. So, across quarterbacks, interior offensive linemen, and you can throw in some tackles if you want, or tight ends.
Yeah. I'll go back to one that I had mentioned in a previous OTP, and that is Maxie Hanachor from Arizona State. 21 years old, redshirt senior, 6'6", 321 athlete, 4.91 in the 40 at 6'6", 321, 83.25-inch wing. And this is a guy that he when his family moved here from Nigeria when he was 13 years old, he played soccer, he played basketball, he played football. And so he's this big dude, and you should be playing football. Never played a snap in high school, goes to East LA JUCO, and then his position coach there gets a job at Arizona State, brings him into the fold. Started 2 straight years at right tackle. And it's an amazing story in this. Now, he's going to be a little more on the developmental side, but it'll be surprising to some people how high this guy will end up getting drafted because there is just so much there. It's got to be refined. He only has 4 years of playing football, and he's 21 years old. Like a lot of these guys have played since they were in Pop Warner.
Right.
That's a
You were happy
story.
with that one?
I was very happy with that one.
good.
Yeah, I mean Stowers is my guy, Amy. I really want to see what happens with him, and is he a day 2 guy or a day 3 guy, and where he ends up. But what a blessing it is that ESPN doesn't realize they need Rhett Bryan on their draft coverage.
No, he's with us forever.
And that we have him.
Can't get rid of him. Well, we have more position groups on the way, you guys. This is only the beginning. So here on the OTP, if you have not subscribed, do it. Tell your friends about it. And be sure to tune back in because over the next couple of weeks, we are going to cover all of the position groups that could be drafted. The next episode is going to be running backs and wide receivers. So all of the people that you mentioned that we're going to be able to talk about, that will be next week. So be sure you catch it. Wherever you get your podcasts, we will have it. Spotify, Apple, wherever. I don't know. Where do people listen to the podcast?
All
over the place.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
Also, it is worth noting that, the draft is coming. And if you would like to hang out with us while the Tennessee Titans are on the clock making that pick at number 4 on April 23rd, we would love to hang out with you at Nissan Stadium. This will be the last draft party.
I mean, you've been there forever.
Is held at Nissan Stadium, the old Nissan Stadium, that is. And so we want to make it count. It is free to come. We're not charging you for this. You can just come. However, you have to claim your ticket at TennesseeTitans.com. So be sure you do that so that you can come and hang out with us for free. There is parking that will open at 4:30, but not a lot of it, so take a ride share. The actual party begins at 6:30. There will be former players, current players. You'll be able to get some autographs. You can take some tours. We'll be there hanging out, plus the rest of our Titans radio crew. So there's going to be a lot of fun to be had. Please come out to Nissan Stadium and hang out with us on April 23rd. And then there's going to be Titans radio draft coverage for the remainder of the draft. So April 24th, we will be on the air from 6 to 9.
Yep.
April 25th, Rhett Bryan is going to be keeping you updated every step of the way, also on Titans Radio. So be sure to tune into all of those things. And if you can't come, I swear I'm going to stop talking soon. If you cannot come to the party, you can listen to us on Titans Radio on April 23rd, round 1. We will have all of the coverage. 6 o'clock pregame, 7 o'clock. The draft begins. The Titans pick at 4. We'll be on the air until 9 p.m. Central Time.
Indeed. You got all that done. Well done by you.
I need a drink of water.
Now, teaser for future Rhett Nuggies as we get through these positions. There is a draftee in this class, potential draftee, that is a former national champion inline skater. And there is also one that is a former national dirt track champion riding BMX bikes.
Those both sound like receiver hobbies. Are they
They're
receivers?
not.
They're not?
I'll give you a hint. They're not.
I'm shocked.
But you will be talking about them on a future OTP?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
I'm just dropping Easter eggs.
Wait.
It's time for Easter.
Well, here's one for you. Running backs and wide receivers are next, right?
Running backs and wide receivers are next.
I love that.
Okay, that was on the same level as it's getting drafty in
Yes,
here.
it is.
It really, really was. Oh my gosh. For Taylor Zarzour and Rhett Bryan, I'm Amie Wells. We have got to get out of here. We have so loved having you here with us for this edition of the Official Titans podcast. Be sure to stick around because there is more draft previews on the way.